What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Hyperfocus. Today we are again joined by Jan.
Hey.
And we're going to be talking about two brands that have one recently done some kind of update, and we believe it to be an honourable mention on the channel, and the other is a bit more of a deep dive into the rebranding of Peugeot. The second one will be Audi, but first of all, I think we're going to jump straight into to Audi. Oh shit, we're not.
To Peugeot. I say actually Peugeot.
Peugeot. All right, I say Peugeot, but I'm from Yorkshire. So in Yorkshire, we pronounce everything with a Yorkshire accent, slightly different, and we're very far away from France.
Yeah, and I had just 1 year France in school, so
French.
Mm-hmm. Friends with French.
Good start to the video.
Huh?
Okay, but if this is the first time tuned in, we talk a little bit of nonsense. But the main purpose of this is to look at the landscape of the industry at the moment and to see what's happening, see what's fresh, check out the new brands, and basically give our opinion. At the end of the video, or the end of each review, we will score the rebranding based on our experience or gut feeling, or I don't know, however. Okay, so shall we jump straight into the first project?
Yes, so Peugeot or Peugeot or
Peugeot.
We don't know. So there's actually, it starts with a video where we can have a look at the logo history. So let's get into this first.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I actually have a couple of facts for you. So Peugeot is actually one of the oldest car companies in the world. It is over 210 years old. And this redesign is the 11th iteration or the 11th version of the logo that they've done over that time period. And the main reason for doing this is because, like all car companies at the moment, they are looking towards the future when it comes to electric mobility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the logo is definitely the hero of this rebranding.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So first of all, we look at what happened back, what happened just the last couple of 200 years. There's a lion, and I think a lion. I think everybody who works as a graphic designer at some point did a lion logo, right? So it's actually a pretty hard job to do a lion logo because there were done so many already, right?
Actually, fun fact, like lions are a little bit close to my heart because the first drawing I ever did for my grandma when I was 8 years old was a lion. Mm. And I still have, my mum still has it hung up at home. And for an 8-year-old, it's actually not too bad. But yeah, lions, I like lions. So the starting point to this is actually pretty cool for me.
Yeah. So what we see here, it definitely was more like a realistic visualization of a lion at the beginning, and then it became more and more abstract, and you can see, okay, there are different time periods and different trends of how a logo looks like. And so the last one was very bold and
Which one? The one in 2010?
Yeah, I mean, I think the from 98 to 2010, it's kind of similar, huh? It's pretty much the same logo.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, also, I also, as we do, we always read a little bit on the internet and kind of find out a little bit of other people's thoughts and kind of what's going on. And we also don't discuss this beforehand, so it's always really super interesting, again, to hear your first impression. But I don't know from 2010 if this logo, the Peugeot logo, actually held any love in the hearts of the consumer. I don't see it as being an iconic emblem that people really embraced and were proud to be part of the Peugeot family. I think the early iterations were definitely, it was very bold and very brave and very strong. And the Lion almost lost its aggressiveness. It just got, throughout the years, it seemed to get softer and softer after around about maybe 1970. And the new logo, which we'll be looking at in a second, is actually reminiscent of where they came from in the 1960s.
Yeah, definitely. So we jump into the new one?
Yep.
Okay, here it is, the new Peugeot logo.
So, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Okay, my initial thoughts. So they definitely have now the head of the Lion plays a much more prominent role, and I think they kind of did a good job. So it has some aggressiveness in there. I think also all the lines look a bit like lightnings. So I have this association to like electricity, maybe that's what they wanted to tell.
All right.
But we will see this on the next charts. I think one of the main things where I'm not so sure about is that I think it's very detailed, and it works in a large size. It works pretty good. I think it's fine. But in the small scales, it really is hard to really see what it actually is. And I mean, if you look, for example, onto the Premier League logo, that has a very high contrast, and it's just like a very like white area and the black area together, and then together it makes the head of the logo, and that works very good, I think. And here it's very detailed.
I think they have actually tried to solve that. There is a smaller version of this logo. We often talk about the nature of responsive logos and how important that is. As you can see in the next chart, where they take the actual shield and reduce that very much down to its max. The problem with this is I don't think the shape of this shield is iconic enough to be recognizable at that size.
No.
And I just want to mention, because you had your say on this logo, I think we as a species have had too much Marvel. For me, this reminded me of a superhero, Super Lion or something. I could see this on the chest of a superhero. It just for a car company. I mean, I think from the detail, like it's been very well crafted at that size, right? I also think it's too detailed. But for a car company, I don't know. It's today and the direction that they're going, I'm just not sure. Superhero, yes.
And then you have like Lamborghini. They also have a shield.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are actually very powerful cars and very strong, bold cars. And Peugeots, I'm not so sure. They're not that. I mean, they might have some SUVs or something, but it's not a.
I mean, electric cars have torque, right? They have a lot of torque, so there's a lot of maybe oomph behind the new iteration. But I don't know if the Lion, the aggressive nature of a Lion, really leads towards the future of electric mobility.
But maybe they needed that because, as you said, like the old logo actually lost a lot of the of the power. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's maybe a good step into like the right direction.
Sometimes I feel like I'm highly critical on these rebrands, and I want to find something that I really love. I mean, there are elements of this which are okay, but there's always something that I can find an issue with.
So it lost his cuteness, I would say, which is good. So if you look in your mirror in the car in the back, and then you see this, then you might turn on the other lane right away.
Or willing to actually enter a drag race with a Mustang.
With your 206 Peugeot. Okay, what do you think about the typeface and the logo?
Yeah, it reminds me of Audi.
The type itself.
To be honest, yeah. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah,
I see this happening a lot at the moment. It's okay.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it, so it's okay. And yes, I agree. This icon they made out of the really small version of the logo. I think there needs to be some lion in there as well somehow.
Mm-hmm.
There's no lion at all, so they just got rid of the lion completely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have here just some variations. Okay, this is like how they use the logo within the whole family, so we can see the brand architecture and how they work with the logo. Yeah, all good here. Very extended, the whole logo, but it's kind of has a like technical feel to it.
Mm. Okay, more of a deep dive into the
new typeface.
That's what it's actually called, because I was struggling to find the name of it.
It's not the name. Okay.
I think it's Peugeot. It's actually Peugeot New.
Okay, Peugeot New. So, but it's custom-made typeface.
We didn't actually talk about who actually developed this, and Peugeot have their in-house design team, and these were the guys who were responsible for. I think they worked also with another French company as well, who were somewhat involved, but I think the majority of it was handled in-house, and they're also responsible for doing like a lot of other projects. It's not just Peugeot based, so they're actually they're owned by Peugeot, but from what I believe, they're also developing other stuff. A fun fact: they also designed a piano.
Oh, okay. It's quite popular at the moment to build your own agency, which then but does not exclusively work for you. It can also work for other clients. So we've seen that. The Peugeot New Typeface. So actually, this reminds me a lot on the Audi typeface, to be honest. It's pretty close, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, for me, it's.
But to be honest, like one thing that I do like about what these companies are doing is that they are actually investing in type.
That's good.
I mean, there was a time, and I'm sure you still find this when you're working with clients, or even from a client side, that sometimes fonts are not seen as being particularly important. And from our side, we obviously know the importance of fonts and what fonts can do for your brand and the expressive nature of them. And it's just really cool, actually, with a lot of the branding that we've been reviewing recently, you're seeing typography playing an important part. And it might not be our favorite font and not like revolutionary, but the fact that it is on the table and there's a conversation about typography and we're seeing these being developed is really, really great. Yeah. And also because of different media and different platforms and the usage of fonts and the way that they have to be very variable, you have to pay a lot of attention if you want to be successful and consistent when rolling out your brand. Yeah,
I liked it too. Yeah, what I was just about to say. So again, it's all right. It's okay. It doesn't hurt. It's I guess It's well executed. It has everything they need. Yeah, it's just not. I mean, it's maybe not my kind of type, but it's
Cup
alright.
of tea. Cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, let's have a look at some
Letterheads.
execution letterheads. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I think a lot of this stuff is when you see these show reels, it's a bit of designer porn in a way. It's kind of the design team are now able to show everything that they've been doing, and that's nice, I suppose. But I mean, these are mock-ups, right? I don't. There's a city light, an out of home brochure, then a mock-up of how the exterior of a showroom would look, and then stationery. All right, when if you're pushing the message of future vision, right, stationery for me doesn't really come into that package, to be honest. And I just see a lot of these show reels, and it's great for us because we have something to look at and also talk about. It just feels like, yeah, it's like a case study for your portfolio. It doesn't really have the motivation, which I believe a good, strong rebranding should have behind it. You know, it should have a purpose, and the purpose shouldn't just be a city light or making sure your letterhead looks good. You know?
Yeah. No, but it's good to get a first impression, like on how.
Yeah,
the
on
overall
Behance,
brands-
but not like on the global stage. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So if I want to see what these guys have been doing, and I want to check out and prospectively work for them at their studio, then that's cool. But on a global stage, on a rebrand of such a big company, 210 years old, I would be looking more to the vision of the future in the way that I presented the stuff that I'm doing, rather than showing off my business cards and letterheads.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I like here like how they play with typography. So they have this very bold, and then in contrast, a very thin typography. And I also like how when the logo is cropped, so you have it like very
it's
big,
nice.
like the head of the lion. But you can see already next to it, you know, when the logo is then very small, you cannot really see anything, you know. Could be like a wrapped paper, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So I also think the exterior looks fine, modern. I like this matte black
Everything.
facade with just really simple logo typography on it. Looks cool. So yeah, here we have some, I don't know, maybe it's an app or a website on a smartphone screens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much context. I mean, again, you know, I don't think the logo works at this size. They struggle with it. You can already see it's not going to drop. I mean, that's 100%. You know, that's not. We should be looking at 50 or 25% scalability and losing some of the detail, but still being able to keep the look of the logo. You can see that they're already struggling with this.
Yeah, it's a shame actually.
I think so too.
When I look at this and also the chart before, there's a lot of potential to be an actual pretty good design, to be honest.
It's hard for me because like I look at it, and as from a designer's perspective, the craftsmanship is there, right? They tried really hard, and I'm sure there's some real talent behind it. So I don't want to take away from that, but it's just, I think like a lot of companies have problems with this, is the application from the drawing board and the craftsmanship, and then applying it, you know, across different media. That's when, you know, we start to see things going wrong. Yeah. And the next one especially. This for me, I suppose we're going to jump into the campaign now a little bit.
Some advertising campaign, which I don't know if they're really running it. I don't like it at all. I think that's stupid. But to put this icon over a face. I mean, I kind of get the idea behind it, but yeah, then also the execution. No,
Lions of our time.
It's just looks a
Dudes, what's this? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. The top right image for me is just the best.
Yeah,
It's just falls so flat. Who are the lions of our time? Can you tell me? I mean, we're going to watch the video in a second, and maybe you can drop some comments below and tell us who the lions of our time are. And if you get something that we don't get from the video, we're super interested to find out. But I don't know. I mean, the target range here is we have 16 to maybe, I don't know, mid-20s, and then we have an old fisherman. This is not demographic, I would say, who are, affluently looking at buying, I mean, I know it's still entry level, but it's still 30,000-40,000 euros on a car. And these are the people that they're targeting. These, from my perspective, this demographic are buying bikes and looking at cycle lanes, right? Rather than buying cars.
Mm-hmm. So you think they are too young for you?
I just think you have this kind of neo-future kind of look to these people. It's the demographic just doesn't feel right for me.
Yeah, I'm not, because I think young people, when they get their, okay, maybe nowadays the car is not as important anymore as it used to be back in our time, because everybody was waiting to get their driving license and then also got their first car, and then it's, most of the time the parents bought something and they might be, can afford this kind of car, like a small Peugeot, I think.
Yeah, so we live in a world of subscription, right? And your iPhone, your subscription to music services. We even talked about this today as well, about news services, and all the stuff that you cluster around your life. This is where, for people today of this age, this is where their money goes, right? You say, I'm going to take away your phone. I'm going to take away all the apps and the services that you use. And instead you can have a car, which is more valuable to you. It's like, it's not the car these days. So they have to try really hard to try and find a way back in. This is also why I think Apple are looking at trying to get into this market and try and re-establish what the market actually means. All right, should we jump into the next slide?
So here's some executions on actually fashion and some merch. So my first impression was, okay, especially when I looked at this techie clothing line, and it looks a lot like Porsche design to me. So Porsche has also this sub-brand where they have sneakers and also jackets and
BMW,
every kind of
Mini,
stuff.
Everybody does it.
Yeah, but Porsche has actually like shops. And
okay.
And they make all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
And it because also the logo, it's kind of similar, and it's this techie kind of approach. And the merch, whatever, umbrella with logo on it.
Yeah. All right.
So this is now the actual brand introduction video we're looking at. This was the video where everything comes together. And we can see all the elements, also animated and with music. And there's actually a lot I like when I look at this video. And as said before, I think it's pretty close to being actually pretty good. But especially the logo, that it doesn't work in small sizes. I mean, are we already rating? I think so, right?
No. Yeah, I mean, I also want to just throw my 2 pence.
I just want to drop my score right now because I already started concluding.
Yeah. I think yours is going to be, again, slightly higher than mine, although I'm not sure. I think one of the things that I miss here is you see an introduction of a design system, and this is something that I would be really looking to see is some kind of central point of truth, and actually celebrating that, actually it's something that we're going to be talking about in the next section, but I'm missing that, right? It just feels like they touch on it, like some buttons here and there, little UI elements, and then you jump into 3D renders of the showroom. It's just like they're almost there, but they didn't quite make it, right? And it's just like, and I know these brands want to show off, but it's just a bit too show-offy for me, right? And I think it doesn't have to be like that, moving into like electric space. And I think electric space is also about caring a little bit for our, for our environment, for this planet. It doesn't have to be the core of your message. There'll be different levels of what it means to be an electric car company, but it just feels so far removed. Like it feels like they forget the point, and we're big believers in the why. So I don't feel any compassion. I'm trying to change your mind here. So I don't really feel any why I should do it. If it was, we want to revolutionize, and we believe, and we want to make things that make some kind of difference. I don't know. At least there's some kind of tangibility there. There is no tangibility there. It's just like, don't forget we're here. We're still the Lion brand, and we've not forgotten you, and we're doing stuff.
Yeah. And what I just realized is that they're also, like their core product, the car, it doesn't play a big role in everything we looked at.
Yeah.
And then not even showed like, okay, how does the logo actually looks on the car or inside the car, or
Yeah.
Okay, so
please go for it.
I give my score on this. I give this rebranding a 5.
A 5?
5 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for the first time we actually agree.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 5. There's some good stuff, nice little details, craftsmanship. I like it. Make a really nice Behance portfolio project. But on a platform, on a global scale, 210-year-old company looking to revolutionize, change, and look to the future, I expected something a little bit different. But
all right.
So let's move on to the next one. So the next one is not really a brand review. We're going to be talking a little bit about Audi. And one thing, actually, I think that is missing from Peugeot that Audi are doing very, very well is that they have this idea of a constant state of beta. And this very much comes from product development. So when you're building something, digital product development, when you're building something, you're constantly testing, you're iterating, you're validating, and you repeat. And you keep building on this stuff. And the idea is that it's never really done. And we love that, because a brand evolves. It has to change over time, depending on certain circumstances, new media that evolves, or just if there's a big shift culturally, you need to be able to respond to that. And I personally think Audi does this very, very well.
Yeah. Yeah, and instead of having then every 10 years like a huge reveal, and spending like tons of money into marketing, they just constantly developing their brand. And yeah, we really like that approach on branding. Okay, so I guess the two biggest things they announced is that they have now. Oh, I have to be careful now because I have to say the word.
We tried saying this off camera already, but please.
They have now.
Go on, you can do it.
Variable logo. Variable logo.
Yeah.
A variable logo.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, which means. So it's obviously the four rings, but you can use them in different thicknesses now. Yeah, so you can use either a very thin line on the circle or a thick one, and this sounds very subtle to some people, but that's actually something I've never seen before on a logo.
I've seen it, and not on a logo. I've seen it definitely for icon libraries, for icon sets.
Yeah,
that's used, and fonts. But
usually it's like this. You have when the icon is very big, then the lines are thin, and the smaller it gets, then the lines get thicker. Yeah, so you just make it more readable. But in this case, it's different. You can have the logo very big, but it can be super thin lines, or the other way around, very bold. So it's not necessarily has to do something with the size of the logo.
Okay,
yeah, that's what it makes for me. I've not seen that before, that somebody took this approach to a logo.
I mean, the way that we approach logos as well is that we have breakpoints within the logo, and we lose detail along the way, but we still try and keep things looking iconic so you can still recognize it. In this case, they have such a simple logo anyway. It makes complete sense to do that. It's really, really easy to maintain and to keep that identity in one place.
Yeah. And the second big announcement is now the typeface is pretty much the same, but they developed a variable font.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are actually the big announcement. Plus, they reduced the color palette as well. So there's just red right now. So this is these three things.
So yeah, I think we wanted to mention Audi as an honorable mention. We can't really score it. I mean, I give it a 10 out of 10 when it comes to the way that they execute things, their approach to developing a brand. It's spot on. I can't really give it, because you've introduced this, it's not really fair to put it up against other car companies, although like a lot of the stuff that was missing from the Peugeot rebrand are these things, and I think other companies should definitely, even if they're not in the automotive industry, take suit of how to deal with a brand. So spot on, really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, we can just go through some implementations. So here's some city light and website mock-up. Yeah, so the imagery is always on point from Audi. And it's, as you can see here, it's like the hero of the campaign. And everything else is super minimal and simple, but works very well. Yeah, here's some UI elements.
Yeah, they do it really well.
With the new variable font.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, for most of the people will not even realize this, I would say.
But that's the thing, isn't it, right? Design should not get in the way. As soon as if you want to be bold and brash and it gets in your face, design is not doing the thing that it was intended to do. It should just be integrated, just seamlessly be in your life, and you should enjoy it. It should be something that you can have an opinion on it, but it should just feel like it fits to your lifestyle. And when it tries to edge its way in for being bigger than it really should be, I don't know, that can always be way too much. And I think Audi does this in a very, very elegant way.
Yeah. And another thing is this is also not new, This is their digital platform, like their digital brand portal, which is at the heart of the brand. And also they are also constantly keep on developing this, and yeah, it's really the central point of truth where you can get everything from, you know, like the basic brand assets till code snippets, you know, to build like new digital products for Audi.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. Can't really score this one. I mean, if you were to, how would you like to round that up from your perspective? It's good, right?
The
It
Audi,
works.
I mean, I love their approach. I mean, this is really also what you know, it fits to our mindset of working with brands. So that's why I really like it. And yeah, they're doing a great job on that.
Awesome. So I think that actually concludes this episode of Unfocus. As much as I was getting really into having a deep dive into these brands, we will leave the links below so you can check out everything yourself. Please leave a comment. Let us know if you found some stuff, if you didn't really agree with what we were saying, or if you just want to throw some ideas into the conversation. We really love to hear what you have to say. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really, really helps us to make content like this and to grow the channel.
Yeah.
So,
May I add something? If you spot rebranding and think, hey, man, this would be interesting if these guys talk about this, then send us and we might have a look into this.
Yeah, some of the upcoming videos actually are based on some of the comments and requests from some of the people on Instagram. So you can reach us on Instagram or in the comment section below. Good old-fashioned email. I don't mind. Just give us a shout, give us a heads up, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace.
Later.